Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Fisher, and I'm the Prevention Education Supervisor with the Kawartha Sexual Assault Center. I want to start off by respectfully acknowledging that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to our First Nations for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Today is Monday, February 22nd. And it, in Canada, is the day that we recognize Human Trafficking Awareness Day. So what is human trafficking? Well, according to the United Nations, human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of a person by means of threat or use of force in other forms of coercion, abduction, deception, abuse of power, giving or receiving of payments of benefits to achieve the consent of a person or having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. There's a variety of different types of trafficking, labor, domestic servitude, but within the work that we do with the Kawartha Sexual Assault Center, we primarily work with victims of sex trafficking. So what is sex trafficking? Sex trafficking is just exchange of sex or services for money, to the taking or selling of explicit photos, all through the use of force, coercion, and manipulation. It is this use of fraud and coercion to make someone engage in a commercial sex act that deems it as sex trafficking. Any commercial sex act involving a minor, even without the use of force, fraud, or coercion, is considered to be sex trafficking. Now I'm going to talk about a couple different myths and misconceptions surrounding sex trafficking. And the first one that tends to come to my mind is that there is this use of overt force, stealing someone, snatching someone off the street, a stranger taking a young person. And really within sex trafficking, that is not as common. What we see in our work is that it more commonly begins as a friendship, moving into a relationship, and then the coercion and manipulation begins. And so what we actually see in Canada is that 92% of the victims knew the person who accused, knew the person accused of trafficking them. And most commonly, these victims were trafficked by a friend or an acquaintance. Some language that we hear is about being the boyfriend or the manager. We deem this, or it's deemed to be that of more of a Romeo pimp and not so much of a gorilla pimp. The gorilla pimp is that kind of forceful act that we see in the media where they're snatching strangers off the street. But in reality, it's more deeper than that. It's a relationship. It's a very loving and sweet person who then takes that trust and manipulates it. Another misconception that we see is that sex trafficking and sex work are the same thing. Now, they're conflated quite often. These terms certainly do not mean the same thing. While they all may involve an exchange of a sexual act in exchange for material benefit, such as money, sex trafficking is distinct in its own way because it involves a non-consensual act that involves force, coercion, or deceit. Whereas sex work entails a willing engagement in commercial sex. Now, we can get into a whole different conversation about the different types of sex work and why people engage in sex work, but please know that they are two very different things. And the third thing that we see and hear about with sex trafficking is that, it's happening in either faraway places or it's happening only in urban areas, and that the people being trafficked are typically international individuals being brought into Canada and then being trafficked. That's not what we're seeing. In fact, in Canada, 93% of the victims trafficking are that are being victims of sex trafficking are Canadian citizens or permanent residents. Over 74% of the victims are trafficked for the first time under the age of 25. Women and girls make up 97% of all reported cases of sex trafficking. And despite only being 4% of the population, Indigenous women, girls account for over 50% of the trafficking victims in Canada. In fact, Ontario is considered the hub of human trafficking, with 2/3 of the cases are actually being reported in Ontario. And there certainly are cases, even within the regions that we serve, of Peterborough, City of Kawartha Lakes, Haliburton, and Northumberland. Even if you Google sex trafficking bust in Northumberland or Peterborough, you're going to see some results. It is so important that we recognize that trafficking is happening in our region, and it's only exacerbated in terms of harm when we bring the equation of COVID-19 into the picture. And so it's so important to recognize that there are supports out there. If you are thinking that someone might be a victim of trafficking, or maybe you're a victim of trafficking yourself, maybe you just have questions about the relationships you're in and some of the requests that are being made, we are here to support you. And so I just want to bring up here some different lines of support for you folks. The Kawartha Sexual Assault Center has 3 lines of 24/7 crisis support. The first one is our web chat at kawarthasexualassaultcenter.com. That is fully encrypted. You can access that through a desktop or even through your phone. We have texting at 705-710-5234, and even a phone line, again, 24/7 at 1-866-298-7778. All of those 24/7 crisis supports are free, confidential, and provide immediate support. At our center, we also offer advocacy, accompaniment opportunities. So if you're interacting with police, the criminal justice system, or you're needing someone to support you, we are here for you. We also offer individual counseling as well. And you can reach our center at office hours, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30 at 705-748-5901. There is also a Canadian Human Trafficking hotline. They also have a web chat similar to ours at canadianhumantraffickinghotline.ca. And their 24/7 call line is 1-833-900-1010. If you're looking for more Indigenous supports and resources within our community, we have Niche Quinidad Anishinaabe Quewog Service Circle, and their office line is 705-741-0900. And they have a toll-free number at 1-800-863-2696, as well as their website for more information at nichkey.com. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video today. Please be sure to check out our resources and know that we are here for you.